What's good? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Eleni, and today you're going to come plant shopping with me, and then afterwards I'm going to do a plant haul and show you guys what I got and also all of the plants that I already have. So let's go. I love living in Florida because you can literally grow any type of fruit you want, like bananas, papayas, figs, lemons, limes, oranges obviously. Fig trees bring back memories of in Greece picking figs fresh off of the trees. These ones are so little though. So I brought my beautiful plant home from the nursery. It is called the I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation, but I think it's called the Curcuma Torch or Curcuma Torch. I'm not sure. It's actually, I looked it up, and it's in the plant family of the turmeric plant, so I think it's pretty cool. It has this really big pink flower that looks like a torch, and it usually flowers towards the end of summer or near monsoon season because it really likes the humidity and all of the rain. And I think it is a perfect fit for my balcony because it is so hot here in Florida. There's a lot of humidity all the time, and I think it's really going to thrive here. As you can see, my balcony, from what you see behind me, is already a jungle, but I do have an empty space where I am going to put it, and I think it's going to really fill out that corner. So I'm excited to unwrap it. So let's get to it. So here it is. It looks absolutely beautiful. It does need a little bit of water, which is actually a good sign because I do feel like a lot of nurseries overwater the plants, and that is going to potentially cause root rot because of the overwatering. But it is dry. The soil is pretty dry, and a couple of these bottom leaves seem wilted, but that's okay because a little bit of water will fix that right up. But here is the reason why this is called the torch, because of this torch stem, or the torch flower. It kind of looks like a torch. I really do love these absolutely massive leaves. A lot of greenery. That's going to really make my balcony super tropical. Now to add just a little bit of water, trying to get all these leaves not wilted on the bottom. Should be pretty quick. I'm gonna water the flower because there is some soil in there. There it is. I love it. The cats really do like when I bring home new plants because of all of the awesome smells. So the reason why it is called the Curcuma Torch, I think that's how you say it, Curcuma Torch, is because of that very large torch-like flower. I actually, that's the reason why I was attracted to this plant. I had never seen anything like it before, and I just had to have it in my life, especially in addition to my balcony, because I really don't have very many flowering plants at all, actually. So I'm really happy I was able to find this one, and I got it still wrapped brand new. So as you all can see, this is the empty side of my balcony. All my plants are over there, and I definitely needed something to fill up this very empty corner here. Because this is a brand new plant, I don't really need to repot it. I don't think there's any root rot because of how dry the soil was, so I feel like I'm okay there in that aspect. So what I normally do is I do double pot it to prevent overwatering, but with outdoor balcony plants like this, really the issue is more underwatering because of the heat. They're just always thirsty. Every single day I water all my plants out here. I have this really big, heavy white pot to put it in. I love this pot, and because this plant does seem to be top heavy, I think that this is going to be the perfect fit. That way it won't be wobbling around or falling over because the pot will be strong enough. I'm just gonna pop this in like that. This is it. I do have a very big plant stand that I can put this on to give it some height. I kind of want to do that, but I'm also kind of scared it will tip over because it is hurricane season right now in Florida, so we do get some pretty strong winds. Actually, as I'm filming this right now, I think it's like Hurricane Fred is passing through Florida within the next couple days. I'm not trying to have everything tip over. I have sadly had some planters tip over in the past, but all the plants were okay, just a couple broken pots and a mess. But I want to put it up here because it's so, you guys can't really see because I'm kneeling on the floor, but it's so empty because I don't have anything on the planter. So I'm gonna see how that looks, but I'm probably gonna have to take it down when it gets windy. So I do really like it up there like that to give it some height. I'm thinking I might put a little bit of greenery possibly down below it, get something a little bit smaller to just really fill in my whole garden on this side. But it just looks so tropical. I absolutely love this, the Curcuma Torch. So while I'm out here, I might as well show you guys and give you a tour of all of my other houseplants. So this is kind of like a houseplant haul, houseplant slash outdoor haul. So you guys already seen this absolute beauty, and let me show you the rest. So starting with here, this is some pretty sad looking catnip because Leo and Cleo literally munch on it all the time, and I pick it, but that's obviously for cat purposes, not actually a decorative plant. My aloe is back here. I do regularly pick aloe. There's a lot of great healing elements to it, especially with sunburn and a lot more actually. Next up, we have this beauty. It's very tropical. I love it. It's almost like a mini palm. It has gotten so massive that you can barely see the trunk here. Next up is my arugula. I grew this from seeds and I regularly reseed actually, and also pick this from my garden honestly on a daily basis. I add it to most of my meals just as a nice fresh, you know, piece of arugula lettuce. Next up is this little guy that has to be up here because Leo frequently likes to chew on it, which is very unfortunate, but it is still super beautiful. Next up is this one. It actually used to be quite small, but it's grown a lot over the last 2 years now. I love how lush and green it is. The giant leaves just look really tropical. Next up is my snake plant. It's actually quite tall. There's a couple different varieties of snake plants, but this is the one that I have outdoors. Here is Leo. The cats love the balcony. This right here is my herb garden. I have 2 different kinds of basil. I have dill. I have, I believe this is cilantro over there in the corner, and something else I don't really remember, but I do frequently pick from my herb garden. I want to grow some more. I hand grew these from seeds as well in my arrow garden. I'll have to show you guys that later. Then we have this sago palm, which got pretty sad over the last winter. It needs to grow back. I'm trying to get it back to health. One of my last outdoor plants is my jalapeno. It has a bunch of peppers on there that are ready to be picked. It is super pretty. I love him. I got him actually as a present for my birthday last year from one of my friends because they know I love plants and I like to grow. So here behind me, you can see it peeking out of my head, is actually probably the plant that I am most proud of. It is my Monstera. Well, one of them, but this is my biggest Monstera. Ta-da! It is huge. It loves it here. I've had it for about 6 months now, and it grows about 2 to 3 new leaves a week. So this thing is just growing. Like, it is growing so fast. I love to see lots of new growth. You see all the bright green leaves that I'll show you guys in a minute. So stunning. The best plant, honestly, my favorite plant that I have by far, it gets tons and tons of natural sunlight here, so it's just like thriving. All my plants are thriving, but this one is by far like the one that shows the most that it is so happy here. This one right here is a plant that I got from Leafy Love, one of the nurseries that we went to that I took you guys on. And this one has been on my list for quite a while now. I've seen it so many places online and I have wanted it so badly. I did repot this one as soon as I got home because despite it being a nursery, the plant was severely overwatered and I am fearful of root rot. I mean, this plant was saturated. It was so bad. It actually has a yellow leaf that was probably caused by overwatering. So I wanted to immediately take that out of the pot, loosen up all of those roots and put fresh dry soil. I'm actually not going to be watering this for probably about a week because I want to make sure that this does not get root rot. This plant, despite the size of how small this was, it costed me the same amount as the huge plant that I bought for my balcony because this is one of, I guess it's something that you could consider a more rare plant. It's just that they're harder to find and then they're kind of expensive. It's in the Monstera family, so that's probably why. Of course, it's nothing like the variegated Monstera that was over $1,000 that was at Leafy Love that I wanted to buy so badly that I might go back for. We'll see. I already, variegated Monstera is something that I want, but those are incredibly pricey. The one at Leafy Love really wasn't that bad because I've seen variegated Monstera roots selling for $800 online and you don't even know if that root is gonna grow. So at least this one already had a couple of leaves growing. But yes, I really do love this one. I am thrilled that I found it. I definitely couldn't let it go. I love, some people call this like a Swiss cheese plant because of all of the holes inside of the leaves, very similar to the Monstera I have back here, except that one has holes and slits through the leaves. I have this very messy beauty here. It is like a vine, it grows really long. I'm actually going to be soon transferring this into a hanging basket, pot, or possibly something that's just off the ground because this is gonna keep growing longer and longer. This I actually didn't get at a nursery, I got it at Trader Joe's. I really do like Trader Joe's plant selection. They always have a lot of beautiful plants there. It's very bushy and soon a lot of these are going to be growing long like this one. You can see a couple starting here. Of course I had to get it. It's purple and I have it in a purple pot because I love lavender and purple. You guys already know that. I also have this beauty. This one I got from Trader Joe's actually on the same day. I couldn't decide which one I wanted, but when I brought it home it wasn't doing so good because I didn't have proper lighting at my other place that I lived at, and ever since I brought it here it's been doing pretty well. You can see all of these little baby new growth leaves here. Like I said, things are really just thriving here. I have a lot of bright natural light. I almost never turn on the lights in my house unless I'm filming because I get so much bright natural light in here, which is amazing for all of my plants. This one right here, it's in a cute little basket pot, but this is called a rubber plant. Its leaves are very thick and very shiny. I definitely need to water all of my plants today, that's for sure. I can see some of their leaves are asking for it. They seem pretty thirsty. I usually only water my plants once a week. My indoor plants, my balcony plants is a daily thing, especially in the spring and summer because it's so hot out. But my indoor plants I usually water once a week, typically on a Sunday. That's just when it's easiest for me to remember. They seem to be doing well. Not all of them get watered once a week. Some of them like even less water. Then I'll water them like once every 2 weeks. I just kind of look at them depending on how the leaves are doing. It's, in my opinion, better to underwater your plants and water them when they look thirsty than it is to overwater your plants. Overwatering your plants will kill them. So I went away for a month about a year and a half ago. It was like 2 Christmases ago. It was for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Went back to Pennsylvania. And actually the person that I was seeing at the time wanted to take care of all my plants for me, and he came in and watered them. I told him he only needed to go in once or twice, and he went in a lot more into my apartment, a lot more once or twice, and he killed every single one of my plants. I was really sad. When I came back, the water, I can't even say water, I looked at my plants and the dirt that they were in was just mud water. It was so saturated, so wet. There was actually water that had leaked out of my pots. Mud water that leaked out of my pots was on my floor. I came back to my place after a month and I was like, what happened here, one, my floor had mud all over it, and two, all my plants were dead because they're either dying or dead because of root rot. And I looked at the plants and I was just like, this is just a pool of mud. I tried to save a couple of them that I could tell they were dying, but I took them out of the pot, trimmed off all of the rotted roots, and was hoping that they would come back, but they had sat there for a month like that. And never again will I agree to let someone to take care of my plants. It is better that they don't get water. They'll be fine without some water for a little bit of time. You can bring them back to life, I guess you could say. Root rot is just going to kill them. But meanwhile, like I didn't want to tell him because I felt bad at the time that he killed all my plants. And I mean, he killed like 15 plants, so like that was kind of sad for me, but I didn't want to tell him at the time because I felt bad. And we were dating, and a couple months went by, and I had said something how I was going to a nursery because I had to buy all new plants because I hadn't had any for a while. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, remember when you went and took care of my plants? And I was like, I don't know how much you watered them, but they were sitting in mud water. Like, it literally was swamp. And then we went to a nursery together and we bought a whole bunch of new plants. And never again, I'm just gonna say that, never again will I ever let a person water my plants for me, except for my mom, because she's like the plant god. She knows what she's doing. So yeah, that's a little rant off topic, but that was my plant fiasco about 1.5 years ago. Absolute disaster. It was like Christmas 2019. So yeah, not good. Next up are my marimbo balls or moss balls. I've had these for a couple years. They used to live with my betta fish, and my betta fish had passed from a brain tumor or something. He had a tumor growing on his head. Poor little guy. R.I.P. my betta. But he lived with these moss balls, and I had actually moved them into this pretty vase that sits on my coffee table. It's I'll put them close for you guys. There's 3 of them in here with another little water plant growing. They are sitting in a bed of amethyst crystals with a very large amethyst crystal also in the center here. I wanted to treat them well. I think they're absolutely beautiful, and I wanted them to have an equally as beautiful home to live in, despite me not having my betta anymore. So this is where they are. They sit here on my coffee table with my 2 heads that you can't really see right now, but I have, here, I'll show you. I have, I don't really feel like moving my camera, but I have my headless man right here. He's a beaut. This is what happens to people when they be a-holes. Just kidding. So this is one of my headless men. I have a lot of torsos in here of men and women, torso figurines, and a lot of sculptured heads. So this is my candle half head man. You guys seen me make him. He's a beaut. And my other man who has a hole in his head because he has no brain. So I do hope you guys like this little mini plant haul. I didn't show you all of my plants because some of them are repeat plants. Like I have like multiple snake plants. I have multiple Raven ZZ plants just spread throughout my house, and I don't want to bore you guys with showing you the same plants. So I try to show you one of each of my plants as well as everything on my balcony. And yeah, get some plants for your apartment. I don't recommend buying super expensive plants if you're a beginner. Although beginners plants I have had a really hard time with, like succulents, they say are easy and you can't kill them. I'll tell you right now, I cannot keep a succulent alive. I don't know why. Succulents, I think succulents are harder to take care of. That sounds so sad. I think succulents are harder to take care of than my Monsteras, which sounds like really pathetic. Apparently you can't kill succulents and cactus. I do, so I don't have any here. The only succulent that I have is my aloe, and that thing, I chop pieces off of it all the time to put on my face. So, apparently that's how I'm keeping him alive. But yeah, so I do recommend if you want to get into plants, starting off with some super easy beginner plants. You can buy plants at Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. I do recommend being very careful there though. They tend to overwater their plants, and I don't really buy plants from there anymore because I have experienced a lot of pests like mealyworms, whiteflies, and then that will just kill everything. It's like so hard. The only thing you can do is buy ladybugs and they'll eat them. But you know how hard it is to find ladybugs in Florida in the middle of summer? Very hard. There's ladybug shortages. So I recommend if you buy your plants from those type of big department stores, I guess they're department stores, really be careful that there's no pests on them. Like look under all of the leaves. If you look hard enough, you will see them. They're disgusting, okay? So you can buy them pretty affordably there to start off with, a lot of easy beginner plants, and then when you feel confident to take care of something more exotic, it's not really exotic, they're just a little bit harder to care for, you can start buying some plants at nurseries, your local nurseries. I guarantee have really nice plants that you won't find in department stores sometimes. You'll find some good finds. And a lot of them are taken better care of. They don't have pests typically. Not saying that they don't, but typically they don't. You never know though. I think my biggest recommendation for what you really need to take care of your plants is just a lot of natural light. There's some plants that will survive in low light, like the snake plant for example, but they won't thrive. The ZZ plant as well, they will survive in low light, but they won't thrive. They'll grow their biggest when there's a lot of light. So if you don't have a lot of natural light, try to do some research for plants that that will survive in low lighting, or just your normal, you know, your standard overhead lights. But natural sunlight is by far the best. They will thrive. And don't overwater. Never overwater. That's the biggest mistake ever. It's better to underwater than to overwater. I'm not saying to, you know, starve your plants from water, but just be careful. I usually, if I'm not sure, normally I just look at my plant's leaves and you can kind of tell, but if I'm not sure, I will just stick my finger pretty deep in the dirt and be like, if it's moist down by the roots, then I don't need to water it. Biggest killer is root rot. Learn from me and don't let other people take care of your plants. That's the takeaway of this video. For me, all of my plants just make me really happy. Before I had pets, Leo and Cleo of course, before I had them, plants were a way for me, something for me to take care of. I really do enjoy taking care of things. I enjoy watching things grow, watching things live and thrive. And before I had my cats, plants were a way for me to do that. And that's why I got a absolutely massive collection of plants. It's actually, my collection of plants is not as big as my mom's. I should do a vlog showing you guys all of my mom's plants. She has more than me, but I think she has more larger indoor plants than me. That's what it is. I have like a lot of these little baby guys that still need to grow, and only like 3 very large indoor plants. If you guys like this plant haul, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I know that this video has been requested from a couple of people telling me that I should show off all my plants, because you do see them in many of my videos. I mean, you can't hide them. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.